Video, we are going to talk a little bit about a recent video that I saw from Tori Trades, who is a very popular YouTuber, trading guru, on one of her record trades, which was a $40,000 win. And she says in this trade that this was the setup that helped her win, and we should sort of imitate this setup. Now, the idea of this video is not to sort of diss on a particular YouTuber or a particular trading strategy, but the idea is to try and have an unbiased view on YouTube trading gurus and understand how much truth is there to the fantastic claims that they make of getting you rich quickly. Now, in this channel, we often talk about algorithmic trading, how to set up algorithmic trading, strategies around algorithmic trading, but at the same time, we also take a very skeptical view of large wins through trading, and the view that you could sort of easily multiply your small account to grow consistently and make 100x profits and 500x profits, the kind of videos that are very prevalent in the YouTube trading in trading YouTube in general. Why do we do that? We do that because we believe that it is very difficult to beat the market consistently. Markets are random, and even most hedge funds don't beat them consistently. And we take a statistical view. And that is why we try to understand these fantastic claims that some YouTubers make about trading. And again, I just want to make sure that we're not dissing anyone. In fact, I can actually make this video because Tori Trades is in fact very transparent about her own statement, which we will come to in this video later. And that is why I can sort of do the analysis that I'm doing today. So having said that, let's get down to the nitty-gritties of this video. In this video, Tori describes a trade that she did which made her $40,000, and basically it's a trade on platinum futures. What you see is the 4-hour time frame, and she makes a trade where she enters the trade here when a trend line is crossed, and then she sort of goes and keeps going until a second trend line is breached, and then she exits the trade here. So she enters around 940 and she exits around 984, and she makes a profit of around 40,000. And later in the video, she shows this chart for us on what her P&L for individual trades are, where we see this particular trade, she gets around 948, gets out around 988, and makes a 4.18% gain, which is a net P&L of 39K or 40K, let's say, rounded off. And again, like, very transparent of her to show all her trades in the trade log and tell us about the net P&L here. Now, I have two most important criticisms about this trade, on this claim in general, and then I'll come to sort of the less important criticisms that I have. The first important criticism is the point that she's making that this is a $40,000 trade or win, $40,000 win, and this sort of helped her win $40,000 by making this trade. Now let's break this down. How much did she risk in this trade? That is an important fact that she omits throughout this 16-minute video and never talks about it. So let's look at this. So let's say she makes a $40,000 profit, and then X is the amount of money she sort of puts in. That is her principal. That is the number of, she buys about 20 contracts, she says. So that is the cost of all those 20 contracts put together. So 40K divided by X multiplied by 100 is the percentage win, which is what we see in her P&L statement here. And so that is 4.18. Let's just quickly do a calculation. So 40K divided by, that means that maybe I can just write that 40K divided by X is equal to 0.0418, which means that X is equal to 40K divided by 0.0418. And then we just do the calculation here in our notebook, and we clearly observe it's about $956,000. So that's about $1 million. That's an amount, that's a huge amount of money to risk in one single trade. $1 million in a single trade. That is crazy. I think that is a crazy amount of risk to take for an average person. Now, I don't understand like how much margin she has, what her brokerage allows, how much margin her brokerage allows, and so on and so forth. And but the point is, she is risking $1 million in a single trade. Like, most people don't have this kind of money. Most people cannot afford this. And secondly, it is crazy to risk so much on a single trade. What if we make a mistake? And I think this is an important fact that she omits, and should be the most important thing that she should tell her viewers, is that how much she actually risks in order to make this $40,000. It is easy to make $40,000 if you have $1 million to risk in one trade. And the $40,000 is less important if you think that, if you know that what you are risking is $1 million. So that's the first important point that I want to make. The second important point that I wanted to make is how much she actually makes in these trades. So if you look at her account, and maybe I can, so you can see that she roughly trades like once a month. Like, there's one trade on February, second trade on February, one trade at the end of March, and so on. So how much does she win in this whole year? We can add up. So there's 4.18%. We can this one she says is an accidental trade. Like, some of these are accidental trades, so we'll ignore that. And then there is 2.64%, and then there is 3.28%. and then 1.23%, 3.36%, and so on. So I just basically looked at the screen and added up the same numbers that she has, like 4.18%, 2.64%, 3.28%, 1.23%, 3.36%. So these are the numbers she provided in her chart. So I added up these numbers. They come to around 14.69%. And maybe I missed one number here. But in any case, so it comes out to around 14.69%. Let's see what the S&P 500 did at the same point of time. If you look at the S&P 500, I looked at from the beginning of the year to this time, it returned around 14.03%. And even if I missed one number at the bottom of our screen, that's about maybe 2% or 1%, I think. But even if we look at, even if we give her a benefit of doubt and add like 2%, maybe that's okay. But the S&P 500 already, if you took no risk and put all your money, all your $1 million in the S&P 500, you would have made 14.03% in the whole year without playing these very high risk trades that she's doing by crazily basically like risking $1 million in one trade. You could just have as well put your money into S&P 500 and enjoyed the exact same amount of returns, maybe a little less, but who cares? I think the cost of her trades is like the cost of the risks that she takes is enormous, and it does not make any sense to take those risks if you can make the same amount of money with a much more risk-free way. And that is an important fact that she never talks about in these sort of videos, where she talks about how successful her trading is. Yes, but at the same time, the market itself has grown a lot during this year, and it's even someone who would have randomly traded the S&P 500 at some random points. If I brought here and sold here and brought here and sold here randomly, I would also have made like 14.03% as like a mean value, right? So that's my second important criticism of her trades. So, and then I have some less important criticisms. Let's come to the 40K trade. We first talked about this, like the most important thing we talked about is how much she had risked by, let me see. Yeah, how much she had risked, which is an important fact that she never mentions. The second problem is that the problem with this video is that it describes a single trade, and that says nothing to me. You can make 100 trades, 99 of them lose and 1 of them win. And then you can make a video about the one that has won, right? So that is called survivorship bias. And I think a lot of videos in YouTube suffer from this same problem. People make videos about selective trades that they have won and selective trades that are huge wins versus eliminating talk about other trades which may not be such huge wins. If you look at this pattern, for example, I mean, it's great. She identified one pattern and it worked out for her in this trade, but there are many other cases where a similar pattern wouldn't have worked out. So that's another problem with, dissecting individual trades like this. What if you were to place 100 trades using the same algorithm? Would you win? How many would you win? That's the more important question to me. Now, the second point that I want to make is that, is this a good strategy? I do think it looks like a reasonable strategy. Her main strategy is a trend line strategy, so she draws this trend line. And again, many of these trend lines I feel like are forced and imaginary. In my own opinion, the reason that this trade works is probably there is a resistance line here, and it sort of bounces off of the resistance line, and it's a strong bounce. And it may not have been a strong bounce either. But I think the whether it's a good trade boils down to how strong the resistance line here was. That is my opinion on this trade. But it's a reasonable trade to make. So, sorry, I meant support. Sorry about that. I meant there is a support line here that it sort of bounces off of. The other problem that I have, which is sort of the next point I'm going to make about this trade, is that she never talks about the exact stop loss, and she definitely has a method to take profit, which is when it breaks this trend line, but she never talks about where exactly she places stop loss for these trades, and what is the ratio of profit and stop loss in her trades, and that is not very clear to us. And that is a problem, because if the stop loss is wishy-washy and there's no sort of programmatic way to place it, then that could mean that her risk management may not be okay with this trade. And that is especially true because she doesn't have a constant sort of take profit point. Her take profit could be anywhere. Like if it reverses here, she can take profit here, but then the stop loss should sort of also be consistent with her take profit. And I don't know. She never discusses that. And I think that is a big problem with this trading strategy. Now, let's come to the accounts that she shows. And I think her main claim here with her statement is that she shows this statement and she says that, I made all these trades this year, most of them are successful, and the 3 that are not are sort of accidental trades that I sort of made by mistake, which, okay, I would agree with that. And then even then, I think the problem is that the claim then is that, I've put long hours into it, I've learned a lot about trading, and that makes me a great trader. The problem is that this is only maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades, which doesn't say anything. Again, this could be one of our accounts. This could be a survivorship bias. I can open 10 different accounts and make trades, and then one of those accounts might show all wins, and then but that doesn't prove that I'm a good trader, right? And even if it is only her only account which she shows us, I think it still begs the question that 6 is not a large number, right? So if we were to apply sort of the laws of large numbers to understand what her mean profit is, 6 or 7 trades would still tell us nothing. I mean, we can go and analyze some of our trades, and I think maybe we can do one of them. So PLJ, so she makes one trade on PLN 24 on 326. I looked at some of her. This is PLN 24. She makes a trade on 326. So in my belief, she's trying to sort of catch the reversal. I think it's a reasonable thing to try to sort of think that there is a big sort of support line here, and then it's reasonable to think that it would bounce off this support line, and that's probably what she catches. So I think her trades are definitely reasonable. Those are reasonable trades that I would make, but that doesn't prove that, and she can make some profit out of these trades, but we don't know much about her risk management strategy. We don't know if these 6 trades are representative. If she made 600 trades, would she have the same profit, and so on. So that makes me skeptical of the claim of the more fantastic claims that she makes. I think that is the basic point that I wanted to raise in this video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments what else would you like to see me cover. Thank you, and please subscribe and like my videos.